if you're around a group of gearheads long enough, sooner or later, everybody's got that one project that they just couldn't finish. And this was one of them for a friend of mine, and so we brought it to life. Hey guys, Redneck Computer Geek here. So we did kind of a mud mower revival video a while back and you guys really liked that. So in this video we're gonna go see if we can get a couple of abandoned projects. Not really abandoned, just he decided he wasn't gonna pursue trying to finish it, and I talked with him, we made a deal, and I'm gonna go get them and see if I can finish them off. So here we go. We'll go see what they look like and see what you guys think. Turner, what year is this Sears?
1975.
1975. That is one pretty unit.
It's been my baby for about 10 years now.
Did you do the paint restoration?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looked a lot better 10 years ago.
I think it looks pretty sweet now.
That's very nice. Can I sit on it?
Alright guys.
What's that?
Can I sit on it?
Oh, sure.
This is the project we're here for. So Turner originally started out making this into an extended dragster.
Yep.
I believe he was planning on being big mod with it.
Yep.
If you don't want this, I'll gladly take it.
What's that?
If you don't want this, I'll gladly take it.
And the reason why I want to monkey with it is because, let me get the sun here. It is one of the rare GT 2-speed Vari-Drive units. Now I've been hunting around for these in order to play around with the drag strip stuff for about 2 years now. And lo and behold, Turner over here manages to not have one, but two of them. So here we go. Here's the second machine, parts machine. It's an Agway 1846, but the oddball that we're looking for is for it to say 14 speed. So yet again, it is a 2-speed GT F&R rear end. Look at these hubcaps. Aren't those just pimping? That hood is just epic. That's got some old school loving with it. So there we go. We're gonna take both and we're gonna see if we can make one working unit. There we go, YouTube. The next time the girlfriend or wife says you have to make sure to take that sunscreen with you, go for it. It works to remount tires. Wicked good. Alright, John, what do you think about this latest project that Turner gave us?
The longest machine I've seen in my life. I actually measured it. It is 7 feet and 2 inches. It is definitely interesting. I don't know how fast it'll go.
So would you believe me if I told you that Turner said there are 5 machines that make up this one thing? So we've got a Agway hood of some sort here, which apparently the front pivots. That's got to be sorted. We've got GT 8-inch rim front tires that have no turn radius, so that's going to get changed out. This is some sort of large GT Vari-Drive hood that originally would have come out like this, that he bent down to fit. Because, of course, it needs a center console from a Cub Cadet. And I'm assuming that this railing here must have originally sat up here, because there's a corresponding railing right there on the other side. So that's why the hood currently looks a little kitty wampus here. And he also provided us with this Cub Cadet steering column, which is an interesting thing because right now it is centered on the gear and it wants to lay back like that with the steering shaft straight down. But this is a dragster, and this thing weighs a ton for a dragster. That right there is the steering rod that he created. And that steering rod corresponds to attempting to make it all the way up through. This is not the rod that he had on it. This is a Sears custom rod. But I found this to be about the right size for this Cub Cadet front end, which is a cast iron front axle. So that's not exactly the best idea for a dragster, but he built with what he had, so we're going to try and run it for now. So that there is the pivot that push rod that's like 5.5 feet long would have gone to. And now to show you the rest, I'm going to have to get this broken down and we'll take a look at what he was planning to do with the engine. Think it's going to be fun to drive?
Yes!
Okay, you totally went off camera with the jump thing.
Yes!
Nope, second time you still suck. Alright, we squared up the rear tires. One of them was on the inverse of the other one. What we decided on was that it came with these hubcaps and they have a valve relief in them. So now this rear rim is turned around and on that way. It's weird because these will actually bolt either direction perfectly fine. So if you put it on the other way, then the edge of the tire is almost out to here and out to here. So we tore this all down so we could see what it was his original premise type idea was. So we've got this right here squared up. I think what we're going to do now is take this off in order to get to what he welded in for some sort of frame underneath here. And then the engine was set up to go right in here. So what I'm going to do is weld all of these seam lines and make sure they're solid. And then maybe drop my spare twin cylinder Opie into this. I think if we set it up with an Opie, maybe some like side pipes or something coming out of the Opie. And he had a panel across here with a top plate across here. Kind of going back and forth on putting the top plate back in and leaving the panels off for the look. These tires are too big for the front to even be able to steer. So I think what we're going to do is stick these onto the front for now, just to be able to complete the look and go from there. Making progress. So we hunted around the junkyard and found one of these that'll fit on a spare transmission that I had. This is the wrong size. John is currently hunting around to see if he can find the bigger version that's supposed to be there. And over here, after talking with the original creator of the machine, this makes a little more sense now. So originally this was designed kind of to have two small engines in it, kind of as a joke, like those pulling tractors and stuff. So what I've done is I've gone through, this is clamped so I can drill a hole here. But right here I've cut it and I've made a clamp piece that goes there so that we didn't change much of the original setup. But I wanted to be able to get this Opie into it. I'm thinking if we make it so that the Opie has either turn downs or something like that, I think it'll match to the idea of the machine. See, with the turn downs like that, I think it'll go with it. And I don't know. Once John finds the pulley, we need to pull a drive pulley off of the spare machine that came with this. At this point, we're starting to sort out a whole bunch of little things that are just kind of, ow, that hurt. So this steering system uses a underneath push rod, which would come down to right in there. So part of the problem is when this thing wants to turn, it hits the inside of there with it. But the other quibble is that means that it was designed with an undercarriage push rod that would go in this side of the machine. So if we come around here, this is the steering box that joins to the Cub Cadet steering that's in the front. And as you can see, if we center it, there is a big old stick piece that comes down and goes that way. So that wants to be mounted right there, but that would mean it needs the stick going down through right there where that big bundle of clutching assembly is that we can't do anything about. And we can't go straight down through because the belt needs to come right there off of that back this direction towards this pulley. So I'm not really sure where to go with the steering. Now, my first instinct would be to put a couple of universal joints in, which is expensive, and I'm trying to keep this on a budget. But if I was to take this and mount it somewhere right about here, I could come universal joint through here, and then a universal joint up into here where he originally had it set up. The problem is from there down through is a pretty decent angle, and I'm not sure a universal joint's going to really do that. But we'll see. I haven't given up yet, but I'm also not sure that we can make it work with the steering assembly that he originally thought he was going to use. There we are. We got it up. We got it running. It's mostly driving. It's longer than I am tall. And it's a menagerie of parts. So let me grab the camera. Let's walk around. And I'll show you what it's made out of. At his request, it is almost like 98% junkyard. The only new part on it is the gas lines and the throttle that I threw up onto it just to have a little bit more control. That's it. Everything else is pure junkyard. Alright, let's see here. We've got an MTD hood, original 1988 hood. The center console is out of a Cub Cadet. Steering wheel and shaft assembly are out of a yard machine. Original rear fenders, rear tires, one of which the rim is bent, I believe. It has the original rear fenders, the kicker off of another machine. The frame from here back is GT MTD. The frame from here forward is a GT Cub Cadet. Cast iron front end from a Cub Cadet. As we come around, we've got our standard gas right here. We have no brakes right now. We've got a gas tank out of a snowblower. We got a strap holding everything together in the front. We've got bike inner tube held down with RTV sealant so that doesn't bounce too much. The engine is out of a yellow bug yard machine. And these are 400-pound dolly tires that I ended up finding at the junkyard. The steering shaft there is out of a Sears Suburban from 72, I believe. And there we go. We kept with his original junkyard theme. I think I've got like $10 worth of brand spanking new parts in it. The rest is pure junkyard, as was his plan. I don't know where we're going to go from here. I'm going to offer it back to him to see if he wants to take it from where it is now and continue with it. Right now it has no brakes, which is why it is I haven't sped the machine up at all. But an easy pullback brake wouldn't take very much to add. And we'll go from there. Throw in the comments down below. What would you do with the machine if it was yours? We're going to see whether he wants the machine back now that I have it up and running, and then go from there.